Welcome to the last video in this section as well as this unit. In this video we're going to look at a word problem that we're going to solve using algebra tiles, but also guess and check. So it says Olive is planting trees in her backyard. The distance between each tree must be 1 meter. She is planting them in the shape of a square to act as a perimeter for other plants in her garden, like shown below. Part A, the question, wants us to complete the table. So in the first diagram, we have a square, and the length of the square is 1 meter. How many trees make up this diagram? Well, that is 4. Now in the second diagram, the length of the square is 2 meters. How many trees were needed to make this shape? That is 8. And for a square that's 3 meters long, requires 12 trees. Now they want us to write an equation between the length of the square and the number of trees. So we can use the variables t and l. T is the number of trees and l is the length of the square. So what relation do you notice between 1 and 4, 2 and 8, 3 and 12? Well, you might notice that the number of trees is 4 times the length of the square. So that is the equation. Now for C, use the equation to determine how many trees are needed if the length is 5 meters. So let's just replace L with 5. 4 times 5 is 20. So 20 trees are needed if Olive wanted to have a square that has a length of 5 meters. Now if Olive had 20 trees to plant, use your equation to determine the length of the square. So in our equation, t equals 4L, 20 replaces the value of t. So we get this equation here. So to solve for L, the length of the square, let's use algebra tiles. So we'll start with 20 tiles on the left, and on the right we would have 4 of the rectangular tiles. Now when we solve using algebra tiles, you always want to isolate the variable tiles on one side. Now we already have them isolated here. There's no unit tiles on the right. So we can just go ahead and arrange them into equal rows. Now we're going to have 4 rows, seeing as we have 4 of the variable tiles. So doing that would give us this here. So that means L is 5. So we can say that the length of the square is 5 meters. Now for part E, it says Olive has 84 trees to plant. Use your equation to determine the length of the square. So a similar setup to last time. T equals 4L. We replace our T with 84. Now drawing out 84 tiles would be a little bit tedious here. So instead, let's use guess and check. So we can start with a guess of 20. So if I replace L with 20, I would have 4 times 20, which is 80. So it is close to 84, but our guess is a little bit too low. Let's try 21. 4 times 21 is 84, so we found the length needed. We can say the length of the square is 21 meters. So that concludes this video. You have now finished all of the lessons in Unit 1. So now you can practice what you learned by completing the activities.